Is becoming an adjunct professor a scam, a terrible idea, problematic? Is it kind of silly to go in that career path? I'm going to try to tell you my take on that and hopefully help you out make this decision. So, the key thing that I want you to think about is that you are an amazing human being that can do all sorts of stuff in this world, and you can choose a great big world of opportunities. And I want you to sort of imagine that you are not stuck. No matter where you are and who you are and what program that you've gone into, you are not stuck. And I want that to be stressed, that there is a world of opportunities, but you have to actually look for them. The problem that we have often is what is called search costs. What are search costs? This is the challenge of actually finding opportunities that lay beyond where you are at this moment. It's a hard problem that we actually have, and there's lots that goes on behind the scenes that makes it difficult to actually find the position that you really, really want. All right, so given that, what about this thing called adjunct professor? So what are they? They're typically teaching professors, or they fill a particular gap in terms of the teaching effort. Often, for many years, it was professionals that did this at many different universities. They might be somebody that worked for 20 years and they decided to teach for a little bit, or maybe there's somebody in the community. Often now it's becoming more of PhDs that have graduated and they found it very difficult to find a traditional tenure track position, and they are looking for an opportunity to do well. So if you're in this moment of your life, first of all, you're an amazing human being and you have a tremendous amount of potential. I want you to stress that. I think we often think of adjunct professors, or people get in this sort of view mindset that this is a career, an end-all thing. But often, if you look at it, the way that it's set up, it's a temporary thing that you should be looking at and finding different opportunities. Now, I'm going to stress something. At many universities, including the one I'm at, there's actually pretty decent comps if you find the right combination of teaching. And teaching, you're going to be teaching probably anywhere between 5 and 9 courses a year, which is a lot. And it's quite overwhelming. And then you might have some administrative duties at those particular institutions if you want to sort of meet a comparable market wage that you need to secure a family, to do well as an individual. I want everybody to sort of think about that. That's the ultimate goal, right? Is to do well as an individual and to be happy at what you're doing. So there's many people that actually do find it stimulating to have that particular career, but there's many people that find it challenging as well. So if you are in that moment that you are finding it challenging, what I would love for you to do is continuously be searching for opportunities everywhere, right? I want you to be assessing. I mean, almost everybody does this, but nobody tells us in public. We're all kind of looking for, where's an opportunity here, an opportunity there. I'm going to be very open. I sometimes peruse what the opportunities are in industry, for example, right? You kind of look at them and see, is there a comparable thing that you can actually find, right? And it's easy to do these things up, right? You might actually look on LinkedIn, for example. There's all sorts of stuff that you can find on LinkedIn. And, you might actually just be communicating with friends and how to actually navigate this. So every community around the world is dying for people that are talented. And finding talent is a hard thing to do. And demonstrating that you actually have this talent that's inside is actually a challenging thing. So there is the reason why people don't get hired. First of all, there's that search cost, but there's also that trust thing that goes on, and establishing that there's trust in what you do and who you are is a really big thing, right? Like, nobody wants to hire somebody that is gonna just kind of, I don't know, do something, right? So you have to establish that trust. And sometimes, here's the challenge with having particularly those that have a PhD, is that you get categorized in the marketplace. Nobody really knows what you are. You're kind of, you have this discount basically because people don't really understand what you've done and who you are, even though that you know, you know a lot more, you've done a lot more than what most people have in a particular domain. It's really funny. In business, for example, we end up taking all of the courses that an MBA would take, and then you go beyond that and, understand what's going on behind the scenes. So we have this very rich understanding, and yet often there's a discount of getting a PhD. Not necessarily everywhere, but there is sometimes a discount of getting a PhD compared to getting an MBA. That's a weird thing. We know that it actually exists. So what can you actually do to sort of look broadly and to make yourself known? I think you start making yourself known. I know that that sounds really silly, but start looking around, start applying to different things, do something like this. I don't know, whatever your field is in. Maybe you're in creative writing, be the creative writing person. It might take a long time that this might actually works out for you, but hell, I'd rather have something take a long time and work out for you than sort of sitting at the sidelines. I think, we have to be creative. There was a story I read a few years ago I went to the Ivy Business School. One of the undergrad students repeatedly said how much they love this company on social media, created this whole basically account about they're in love with this company. I don't know what it was. It was like Apple or IBM or something like that. And they ended up, lo and behold, they got hired by that company, right? Like if you did those kind of creative things where you showed your passion for something and you went above and beyond, that's awesome, right? To look at those kind of things. Now, you might not want to do that publicly, given that you already have a position as an adjunct professor someplace, but you can sure as hell do that in many different other kind of ways to demonstrate what you're doing, right? Like actually show up and be present, do the things that would be attractive to somebody that's out there, right? And all of those things are really, really powerful. I want you to think about what's the way that I can tackle this particular problem that I'm in, right? So if you're an adjunct professor right now and you want to switch jobs, what you need to do, start listing out, right? I know you're gonna be super busy. I get it. But start listing out and start just check boxing the different places that you've applied to, right? Like actually create a Excel spreadsheet, right? Nobody uses Excel anymore, but go into Google Sheets, right? And have a sheet and go through hundreds of jobs. Just keep applying, keep going. I know it's terrible, but that's the reality. And if you did that, you will actually end up with something that's amazing. Now, if you're completely happy and there's amazing things that are going on as an adjunct professor, that's amazing. You should continue to do that, right? You should be proud of that particular thing, but just know there's this kind of frame at this moment that adjuncts are kind of dead ends. It's not the case. You have an unbelievable amount of potential. You just have to believe in yourself and keep going and see that you can actually do this. Because there's at least one person in this world that believes he can, and that's me. All right, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.